Welcome to the Nerd Room, everybody. It is a very special live stream for our 2023 box office fantasy draft. I'm your host for this evening. My name is Tim, and I'm joined by the reigning and defending box office champ, my good friend Carlos. How's it going, buddy?
Good. Putting the back-to-back titles on the line here tonight. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. This is our first expansion into international waters.
This is very true, and it's our first crack back at the box office fantasy since the pandemic. We did this pre-pandemic. We tried to do it during the pandemic, but everything was just all over the place, and we could not really get a straight line to these releases dropping and also being able to count this. So, Carlos, before we show our expansion into the South, would you actually let's bring them up before we show what we are battling for, and then we'll get into the overall sort of how we're going to do this, how it's going to lay out the rules, if you will, and then we're going to jump straight into it. So we'd like to welcome team number 3 for the tonight. We have got our good man Zeddy.
Hey guys,
Vigilante 1939. Welcome, Zeddy, to the box office fantasy draft 2023. How's it going, brother?
Man, it feels good. And let me just say, no matter what happens on January 1st of 2024, we are all winners, except for one person when all is said and done. What's up, guys?
I love it. I've been thinking all week about this, Zeddy. I've been thinking so much about how you're going to play this. I'm trying to figure out everyone's strategies here, and I feel like you're a heart guy. You're going with your heart.
I am, man.
And so this is going to be interesting.
It's a great year, man. It's a great year.
And from the great state of Illinois. Is it Illinois? Yes, I think so.
Yes.
We have got the best dress of the evening. We've got the GM and and I guess the coach. I don't know what you want to call them, but we've got the Carusos here. Look at these
Good evening,
guys.
gentlemen. How are you?
Gentlemen, we're ready for a draft.
We've consulted our coaches, our scouting team, and we are very prepared tonight.
Hopefully, you guys are.
And you look at like I'm intimidated. I'm the reigning champion, and I see that blue jacket, the blue blazer with the black collar underneath.
That's right. Thank you. Yes.
That's some showmanship.
I love it.
This is my lucky blue blazer. So
I dress with my mind. That's how I dress.
That's how you dress, man. That's how you dress. Well,
you
gentlemen are looking fantastic tonight. Tell me, Carusos, how you guys doing? It's been a minute since we had you on here, but how you doing?
We're doing great. It's so good to see you guys again. It's been far too long, but we got to get serious tonight.
Oh man, I'm jazzed. It's great to be with you guys. It's like a second Christmas for us.
Like a reunion, like a nice little reunion here.
Yes.
Great way to start off this year.
Yep.
Well, we're thrilled to have you guys, and like Carlos said, we're thrilled to put this expansion into effect. And this is something that we've loved doing over the past couple of years. We'll save the pandemic, but it's a way for us to actually put to use all these box office numbers that we get. You know, it's a lot of fun to kind of keep track of this stuff and watch this stuff. But now we're gonna put some stakes to it, if you will. And so what we're looking at for the box office draft, this is of course a year-long competition. It's similar in some fashion to a football fantasy draft, where we are each going to pick 5 films, no duplicates, across the year. The film must be released in 2023, but 2024 dollars will count for films released in 2023. So if you take, let's say, Aquaman 2, and that drifts well into 2024 like Avatar is doing now, you will get all those domestic funds counted towards your total. And the winner will be the individual who has the largest cumulative domestic gross of their 5 films all combined up. So domestic is a key piece of this, guys. This allows us to keep a little bit inside of a box here. We're not dealing with international anomalies here, so we feel that this will keep us a little bit more on the straight and narrow. Now, what are we playing for tonight, gentlemen? What are we playing for? Carlos, as the back-to-back champ, I'd like you to introduce to the gentlemen here that are new to the box office fantasy pool what they are playing for.
The Golden Spidey, and with my lack of planning, I was sitting here first in the lobby, but didn't have anything ready. So I don't have it with me. But if you go back
Okay.
and
I
check
love
my
it.
tweets, you'll be able to see it. And it's safely secured. It's like the Stanley Cup. I carried it for the tenure of my championship, but now that the new season has begun,
That's
I
fair.
had
All
to
right,
turn it
Carlos
back over to
Pritchard.
the hall.
Yeah.
And,
Keeper of the Spidey.
yeah,
Keeper of the cup.
and now the keeper has it. He's got it nice and secured. He's polishing it up, and
Those white gloves. Those white gloves.
Well, I have a question real quick.
Can't get it dirty.
Can you
Right.
refresh us, Carlos, the back-to-back years? What were the powerhouses that obviously led to your successful?
the powerhouse. So I actually had in the snake draft, I had the 4-5 pick. So I think I had Venom and No Time to Die
Oh,
Wow.
those are-
in there the one year. And then the other year was the pandemic year. So it was just like the fiesta platter of just movies that simply
Random
released.
stuff. Yeah.
Like I think Margot Robbie carried me to victory on her lonesome.
Yeah.
But you never know. Like those late picks, like I had the very last pick in the last draft we did. My wife had Top Gun Maverick as like a joke. It was a joke in our house where she's like, Top Gun Maverick. I was like, no, I don't want that. Who's
'Cause I
gonna go see
informed
that
her.
movie? And
Yeah.
she's like, but she's her and Zeddy, they're like freaking Maverick and Goose.
That just
Oh.
goes to show you can get a late round pick like that, right?
yeah.
Right.
It's like in the real sports world out of nowhere.
That's,
That's
right,
exactly
man.
it.
A
You-
Tom
you-
Brady, if you will, right? A 7th round draft pick.
Except
or
for
whatever.
last year.
Exactly. You have no idea. Like we've had in the
amazing.
past, rounds, I
Yes.
believe go back to 2018.
Yeah.
I think that was the year that Solo came out, and that was the number one pick overall. And it ended up only doing like $130 million.
Yeah.
And that was also, I think, was that the year or the year before where it would have been the same year Black Panther outperformed Infinity War domestically. And so stuff like that, like it's crazy stuff that really does. It's really those late picks that we've
Yeah.
experienced in the past that make the biggest difference. And there's some surefire ones inside of 2023, and that's why actually we've swapped out the draft order this year, because there's so many big hitters. Is that 4-5 position we felt got a little bit more of an advantage than usual. So what we're going to do for the first 2 rounds is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the top 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll snake back around with the 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go from there. So that's trying to like level the playing field here, because there's some massive films coming out this year, and there's some films that potentially are those hidden gems. So we're going to get at this. Zeddy and Carlos have concocted a method to do over the live stream about picking our number 1 through 4 slots
Live
here.
draft
Oh, we
order.
got
This
the
is
All right.
great.
So in the interest of fairness and in honor of the Crusoes, look at this.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that,
Oh,
Tony.
that's beautiful.
Oh, but wait.
Oh, that's good
man.
luck for us.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful.
So
That's biased if I've ever seen one.
In the-
Teaching you.
that's just it's honestly the biggest coffee mug I had, and I didn't want my hand to get stuck in a coffee
Oh,
mug
that's
while,
Hey, I love it.
while
I
we
didn't
were
use my
drawing.
Mavic one, so that's okay. I feel you.
Yeah. So I will. Zeddy has. So I have the 4 names, and Zeddy has the numbers 1 to 4.
Yes.
So Zeddy will blind pick the number, and I will blind pick the name, and that's your position in the draft. So
Wonderful.
Just give it
Yeah.
a little shake here.
no, we got like the whole NAFTA thing going. So there's no
So funny
tomfoolery.
business.
Yeah.
All right. Just let me know when they're going. I will pick the first numero here.
Let us know. So we don't want.
So I'm not
any-
looking. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah,
Here's the
no
cup.
draft fixes
Here's
like
me.
the NHL with their draft lotteries.
All right. So
Here we go.
the first one, I taped these together like the Oscars, so nobody knows that this is rigged. Okay. Who is number 3?
This will be the
Number
third
3.
pick overall.
Okay.
Third
I
slot.
love that Nico's there working that pen. I feel like I'm in a real draft.
Look in the pen.
All right. First
Here
name.
we go.
Caruso.
Okay, we're 3.
I'm content with it.
All right, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm really hoping for for slot number 1 here because there's a little strategy in this. Are you going to play with your heart? Are you going to play with your brain? A little bit of both? Because you got to remember, you're cheering for these films too.
I got you, hostess with the mostest.
All right. Let's see.
And now, next pick.
I'm nervous.
Who is numero uno? Let's get it
Number
out.
one with the first pick in the draft is yeah,
Oh my God.
Nice.
Timbo.
Oh, that's huge.
Nice.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Mr.
That's
Producer
huge.
Man with the numero
That's
uno. I
huge.
tell you, I already know what I'm
Hey.
taking,
That's
boys. I already know what I'm
huge, man.
taking.
So everybody
about
can
that?
scratch Guardians of the Galaxy.
You sure
off
about
the
that?
list.
Nobody knows until the clock hits 001, my friend.
All right, Zeddy, let's go. Let's pull it out. What do we got here?
Looks like we have. Man, it's really stuck together here. This is. Who's number 2?
Number
It's a
2.
big pick right here.
Number 2.
That is a big pick. The Austin Matthews pick.
There you go.
Carlos.
That means Mr. Z.
All right.
All right,
More
ladies and
position.
gentlemen, there it is.
Here we go.
We have got
Whoa.
Tim, followed by who was number 2? Carlos.
Carlos.
The Caruso's at 3, and Zeddy in that number 4 slot. Zeddy, let me remind you something here. Don't get too upset about the number 4 slot. That becomes very important in round 2 and round 3.
I get
You've got
2, right?
back-to-back picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I won that shit twice.
Yes,
With number 4.
with that exact slot.
Oh, I am not worried over here, my friends. Don't worry. It's all
All
part of
right.
the plan.
Ladies
It's all
and
part of the
gentlemen,
plan.
All right.
there it is. Any
Tim, you
questions,
are-
comments, concerns from our entrance here? Caruso,
I might need to
Zeddy,
black out
Carlos.
my screen. Crusoes are stressing me out with that
We
pen
are-
going, the water
That's
bottle.
okay.
Like,
Meanwhile,
I
I
got
got the
phone
boardroom
grabs,
over
too.
here. They're analyzing it for me right now as we speak.
Man,
They're
is
in
the rest of your
factory.
family,
Everything's
Caruso,
good.
sitting on the other side of you there feeding you information?
Oh no, trust me, I don't got them to feed me information. I got my own private staff for that stuff. Come
Yeah.
on now.
Zeddy's got the earpiece going.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, you think I'm hearing
fine.
you guys in these headphones? Okay, continue.
Tim, you're on the clock, right?
a lot like this? I'm actually quite nervous here. I feel like there's
Yeah,
a lot
no, I'm
riding
a
on
little-
this. Like
a lot.
It's a big pick.
it's
It
and
is.
I kind of want to echo a bit of what Carlos is saying there. The Carusos, you guys got me worried. But I'm not gonna lie, Zeddy sitting over here to my right is got me a little nervous. I feel like it's just gonna come in, swoop in, take a Tom Cruise movie or two, and sail to a victory.
You never know. Hey, I won't say nothing.
All right. Well,
My
we're gonna
tongue
kick
is
this
tied.
one off. Let's try to keep it to like 20 to 30 seconds.
Sure.
If we can per each, but I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet, gentlemen. With the first pick overall in the 2023 Nerd Room Box Office Fantasy Draft, I take Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to no
great
one's
pick.
surprise in the room here.
Fair.
It's a great pick.
It's a chalk pick. I got to give you.
respect
credit.
it.
I mean, they look like the champion, right?
It's one of the. It's easily going to be one of the top ones of the year.
Is there anybody that would disagree that it
Not me.
shouldn't be the top 3 or 4 movie of 2023?
If not, something bad happened.
Yeah, something
Trilogy
It's got to be
camper.
pretty spectacularly
Yeah.
bad. At which
Yeah.
point in time, David Zaslav is gonna drive his car off a cliff.
There's not only a lot riding on it for us Marvel fans, but the DC
Mm.
fans have got a lot riding on that movie too.
They do.
Yeah.
All right, Carlos with the second pick overall.
With the second pick overall, you know what? I gotta go with my heart a little bit over my head. This is a hero that all of us have loved for decades and who we haven't seen on the big screen since the 90s. You know what? Nobody loves this guy. And with the second pick in the 2023 box office draft, the Demonese household is proud to select Super Mario.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
That's a great pick.
That was-
Another Chris
Well,
Pratt
wait a
vehicle.
second.
That's
Now, wait.
that's a great
I
pick,
gotta
man.
change this
He
thing.
just changed
That's
his
a
credit.
great
He
pick,
put
man.
Chris on
Change this
there.
thing.
Hang on, it's like-
That's
Yeah, a little bait and switch. I saw you guys
I
all
like
going.
that. I
"This
like
Wow.
that.
idiot.
I thought
This
you were gonna
idiot
say
thinks
another
I'm the
90s
Flash."
character. To be honest, wow.
Yes, I thought.
Wow, he got me
No.
there.
Carlos, expand a little bit here because you go onto the internet and this movie is being hailed as potentially the top one of the year. You said you went with heart here. I think there's a little bit of brain inside of that as well.
To be honest, like
I like it.
the wife did the list, and that was the #1 pick the whole time. Like she's crazy excited
Wow.
for this movie,
Nice.
and it is kind of funny because she's trying to convince one of my girls to go with her, and they're like, really?
Man, I think that movie crosses a lot of generations,
It
and
does.
I think it's a fantastic pick. So far, the first 2 picks are really strong.
You're gonna get the people who've grown up with it.
Yeah.
I love that. You're gonna get the kids, but you're gonna get Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart in the last few years have become like a college, high school, like people.
Good
Yeah,
point.
Whether you're just playing it, whether you're trying to have some
Is
extra
it like
fun with
Minions? Like
it.
how
In terms of it, it's gonna be bigger.
It's
than
an
Minions.
illumination
I love that.
film.
And Carlos, I won't lie to you, we had that very
Wow.
high on the big board over here. We had to make some calls.
we had to go
real
to the
quick.
scouts. We had to go to the scouts.
Well, Caruso's. Let's see
Yeah.
if all this
Let's
work has
see
paid
what the
off.
key is here.
Well, the key is domestic.
Domestic is the key
Domestic is the
in
key.
this pick here, and I'm going to let you, of course.
And so domestic is the key here. And I've learned a lot of things from friends of mine. But there was something I didn't learn until this year. And I didn't learn that in the old US of A, how important Tom Cruise is. So with the first overall pick, we are going with Mission Impossible.
Whoa,
Trade.
that is a
Trade.
big pick.
Trade.
Tom Cruise showed us this year. He is
Wow. Shit.
he made something really accessible. He brought a lot of people back to the theaters who weren't even back for the films, like for the big franchise ones, for the Marvel ones. And I think people are going to be itching to go back for him. I think him advertising it in front of Avatar, in front of Top Gun the first time, I think people are, as the superhero fatigue might start to kick in, I think people are going to run back for Tom Cruise. And when people know something
Yeah.
is ending, it's part 1 of the finale. We are going Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible.
You know, I've learned my lesson in past drafts where, you know, you always want to draft. You want to get creative, but I feel like he's the QB here. And I think,
Yeah.
you know, he kind of leads the team here, my
Tom
son, right?
Cruise
Yeah.
going under center, all 5-6 of them.
He did all those
lining up.
He
before
did all
center.
those stunts on his own.
Yeah.
We've
Man,
all seen him falling out of the
vignette.
plane, hanging onto the plane. So
Also, if anyone remembers his rant on the set of this film,
Oh yeah.
he's saving the industry with this. He was ready to fire.
He did.
So if this doesn't deliver, we will die on the hill. We will own it. But we think think Tom Cruise.
It's getting pretty hot in here, Zeddy. I might
Yeah,
have to take the
I'm
scorecard.
sweating.
Well, and to Zeddy or to Emmett's point there, what between you and Ian, like you guys might as well just stick around, and then we'll have the second draft where Zeddy then picks his new co-hosts, I guess.
Yeah,
And we'll find out what shows we're going to be on starting next week.
Listen, you play the game to win.
And remember, we can trade here. Let's see what Zeddy comes up with here, because we all know that's when I'm saying he's going to play with his heart there. But I have to say, Tom Cruise, for a man that decided to jump off the side of a mountain riding a motorbike with a parachute on his back 8 times just to get the right shot, shows his commitment to this movie. And you got the Caruso's backing him here, but who's Zeddy going to back in this
Wow,
first
this is a
round
big
here?
pick here now.
Real quick here. Let me tell you how much I believed in the movie that the Carusos just chose here.
my man.
I was willing to give both of my next picks just for that movie, which
Can't
is
do
still
it.
on the table here.
Okay.
No, you can't.
That
go to the
being
table
said,
now. We'll see.
that being said,
You're going to have 5 picks. You got to have 5 movies.
that's how much I believe in that one movie, my friend. That's how much it's going to be the blockbuster of July. That's what I'm telling you right now. It's going to be the blockbuster of the summer. Mark my words. Congratulations, Caruso's. All right, that said, the 4th draft pick, the first one, this is the 10th entry in this franchise. These movies always make boatloads of money. Fast X.
That's a good one.
Fast X. Wow. There it is, guys.
Rick, man.
This is why this is such an interesting year, because my top 4 picks for this year, outside of my pick, 3 of them are still on the table.
Yeah.
Like this is a wild year, and this is why, at the advisement of Carlos, we did the draft style this way, because there is so many big films here. and we wanted to make sure that there was kind of an even spread. So Zeddy takes 5X. Vin Diesel going without Dwayne The Rock Johnson in a proven box office monster.
Yeah.
Oof.
With the addition of Jason Momoa and Brie Larson.
And Gal.
And
They're both in that movie?
And I think the return of Gal is the rumor. So
That's a lot of star power.
there's a
in
lot
that
of
movie,
star
man.
power. And Jason shows you people show up
Alan
for
Richardson.
Momoa.
Yeah.
So I like
People
this
show
pick.
up.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's both family.
Family. It's
It is.
I want to take off my hat right now. You know what? We might need to go full Vin.
Oh man,
All right.
this is it. So as per the rules here, we've got the draft. We've done the first 4 picks here. Some big picks there, some big movies off the table, but lots still on the table. So the next round we'll go 1 through 4 again, and then we will stop there and zip back around with Zeddy taking the, I guess, 8th and 9th pick in this draft. So I don't know what to do here, guys, because I've got actually of the 5 top films I chose, all 5 of them are on the table, except for Guardians
Marvel's
of the
releasing
Galaxy.
a lot of movies, so
What's that?
lots of
Yeah,
picks.
there's a lot to go here, but just my order, just like that shows how different everyone is thinking on this. And I'm gonna stay consistent here. I'm going with the July pick, and I'm going with the tried and tested franchise inside of this. I'm gonna go with a movie that I know none of you are gonna take, but I want to make sure I get this year. I'm going with my number 2 pick is The Marvels.
Oh, that was on my docket.
It's a good pick.
like
That's
it.
a good pick. I like it.
I'm looking for domestic grossers here.
Right,
Domestic
of course.
grossers. The MCU is consistent, and that's what you need inside of this fantasy pool is consistency. I'm looking for $200 to $300 million in all of my movies. That's what we need here. And one banger is what wins the competition here. Is what wins it. But Carlos, I'm glad. I'm sure you're happy that movie is off the table.
Well, yeah, I was tempted. I can't actually say too much because my kid is like really looking forward to that one, thanks to Kamala.
Is that an oof for me, Emmett? Is that for you? Don't like that pick?
Then you're getting spicy in that chat, man. Wow.
What is that about?
Emmett feels for me. That's what he's doing. He's projecting my feelings for me. I appreciate that, brother. There you go.
Okay. Well, what do you got to throw on the table here, Carlos? Number what are we at? Number 6.
Number 6. You know what? I didn't know that this one would be on the table still. I'm gonna leave the other one. Like I got one that's like right there and ready to go, but I'm gonna be just like the Flames. Just like the Flames. I got my list. I gotta work my list no matter what happens, what the other teams do. And I'm gonna leave this one for my boys there. I saw the disappointment with that number 3 pick. But with my second pick, I'm gonna take Dune Part 2.
Oh,
No pandemic this time. I like
Yeah.
it. I like
This-
it.
This
I
is
like
an
it.
interesting pick. This probably has some of the biggest potential
got
because we don't really know where it sits because it's such a pandemic release.
Well, but despite being a pandemic release, the first movie performed like gangbusters.
Mhm.
It was available on HBO Max the same day it came out.
Yes.
It made money hand over fist. It was one of the best performing movies in the pandemic era. So outside of a pandemic era, you have a massive audience that has now discovered this movie. It cleaned up at the Academy Awards. It's adding Best Actor Academy Award winner Austin Butler to the cast.
You better,
Yeah.
baby.
And so you're gonna see a hunk of burning box office. there.
And you're gonna see how big this person might be. It's also adding Florence Pugh
That's right.
as well. So people know her, and Christopher Walken. That's a good one, Carlos.
I
We
love
won't lie
that
to you.
pick.
That was
That's a good pick.
both
Big
of
pick.
Carlos's were very high on our. So he's the test now.
Yeah.
He's been stealing. Okay,
Yep.
we gotta try to.
All right, Crusoes, bring us.
Well, we're just gonna
number
take Black
7.
Adam here. Oh, I'm sorry. That movie came out already. Excuse me.
Oh, there's 3 other DC movies to choose from, though. Don't worry.
All right, son, go ahead. You've got the
No,
envelope.
no. You got the end before.
Well, listen.
You can
I
be
think this
involved.
movie will be the precursor of what's to come. I'm going to bet that it's going to create the interest setting up this next phase. And I have never seen the first or the second one,
which is hilarious.
but I will be in theaters opening night with my guys here to see the Kang Dynasty begin. And we are going to take Ant-Man Quantumania as our second pick. I feel like sometimes the first superhero movie, and unfortunately I know Shazam comes out first, the second one, but I feel like there's always that first superhero movie that comes out and kind of overperforms and does better than the ones that come out after it.
People are hungry.
But I would have liked Guardians. I'm not
You're not
gonna
gonna
lie. It is.
We're not even gonna lie to you.
We're not gonna lie to you. Guardians was there.
Quantumania is high on my list as well, or it was high on my list. It's got a ton of running room.
This is it's got the running room.
It should. We're gonna see here because I do think they're gonna return with these end credit scenes, which are gonna
be a banger.
I think this is Kevin Feige saying, "Hey, Wakanda was the end of that phase, and this is the beginning of something new." And we all know what's in front of what's after Ant-Man. We all know the slate that's been announced, and it is unbelievable. Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty, Thunderbolts. I mean, there's a lot coming. So
my mindset here is, while I'm not huge on the first two, a lot of people like them. And even though they didn't break the bank at the box office, Phase 4 there was a lot that came out. We don't have a show coming out before this either. So there's been a little Marvel break, which I think benefited the Multiverse of Madness. It also doesn't look like it's going to try to be as different as some of the Phase 4 films that, like my dad said, bringing back Kang, people being like, oh, these are the ones where it's building to that villain. And we will see. It's also one of those where it's like any draft where it's like, at this point with some of the bold, amazing picks so far, it's like the best available still on the board. Exactly. The MCU, now there's only one MCU left. You got to have an MCU on your list, in my opinion.
You do.
And we'll see. Now it's going to get very interesting.
Yes.
With the 3 MCUs gone.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. So
there's a lot on the board here for
Everything is
Zeddy.
going according to plan here.
Zeddy, pick 8 and pick 9. This
All
is
right.
a clutch spot to be in.
It is, and I'll tell you why. Because my next one here happens to be a Disney remake, and these movies always have made money.
They're
And that
consistently
is-
terrible and consistent money.
Exactly. But hey, all that matters is the green that comes in the driveway here.
Yep.
That being said, next pick is The Little Mermaid.
Ooh,
Nice.
That's you can't go wrong with billion-dollar consistent films.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? I know we're talking domestic in this, but
Mhm.
these films consistently deliver. Jungle Book, all the other ones, Lion King. Come on, some of the biggest movies of the pre-pandemic era, and we haven't had like a big live-action release in a while in this kind of form because Pinocchio dropped straight onto Disney Plus.
Yep.
Also terrible.
Yeah. Well, you didn't like it, Geppetto?
Well, watch the Netflix one instead.
which
There you
is
go.
good. The
Yes.
Netflix one is great. The
It
other
is.
one I won't even look at.
It
You
is.
got some back in there from our boy Emmett. So what's up, Emmett?
Appreciate
Chris
it.
just
All right,
joined.
Zeddy, take it away with
All
the
right.
next
So
one.
Teddy's next again.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
one.
It's reverse order then.
It's
Okay.
reverse order
Yeah.
now. Back up.
The next one is another guy that has been known to deliver the goods here, both box office and critically. He had a movie come out in the middle of the pandemic, which is unfortunate. It got destroyed critically or financially at least. My next one is I'm banking on this guy to return here with no pandemic. It's a loaded ensemble. It's Oppenheimer
Oh,
in the heart of
Christopher
summertime, baby.
Nolan.
Nice.
You know,
pick, man.
he is.
I'm banking on Nolan, baby.
He's the guy that brought a little confidence back to the theatrical experience. I had written it off,
And
at
it's
that point.
universal. They're gonna pump it.
You know,
Well, and
time.
they have to play it for like a ridiculous amount of time.
Yep.
Like
And knowing Nolan, it's gonna be in theaters for like
Yeah.
probably 2 months. So
it's in his contract. It had like
Yep.
a minimum theatrical run, so it'll be playing for a long time there.
yep. Nice. There you go.
Zeddy with 2
I'll tell you what.
back-to-back diverse picks.
Zeddy, reaching there a little bit, I think. I think this is the first one
Trash
of the
talking.
entire
We're
draft
smacked on.
where scratching my head a little bit at my guy.
we are heading
Dark
towards this-
subject.
You said the same thing about Top Gun Maverick, and look what
Oh, I
happened
was
over
wrong.
there. Yeah.
I learned my
716
lesson. That's right.
Only
That's
one
why
of
I
us
took
walked
this
out of
to-
that movie and said that it would
I
go to
took
the
that guy,
Oscars. It'd be
Mr.
the biggest
Maruno.
movie of
All
the
right, son, we're
year.
going to give you the
Second biggest
honor
movie.
here.
I know.
There's some massive films still available right
Yeah.
now. Like massive films. Like this is turning out to be way more like strung out than I had ever anticipated. Like these
I'm
picks are
cool as a
all
cucumber
over
over
the
here, man.
place.
the co-host draft is real. Emmett's gonna
So-
take my seat, and off we go.
For our next one, it's a little bit, I would call it bold. I think many would call it bold, but there's a set of films that feel like they would be sure things, but with certain developments about the future and the future of the universe, it's hard to look at those and see what the audience is going to think. That being said, there's a sequel to a movie coming out. The first one was big. The number wasn't necessarily gargantuan, but in the 5 years since, the intrigue around this and the intrigue around the character and the concept around the character has grown. We're going with Across the Spider-Verse
Whoa.
as our third pick. I think if
That's a nice
it
pick.
hits and is as good, I think people are going to be intrigued in the multiverse thing,
Mhm.
in what cameos and secrets are going to be in there. But this movie, I feel like, it's aged incredibly well, and I think it's going to do, now that people know what it is and Miles and all these characters, and we saw what No Way Home was capable of, I think this will be, even though it's animated, will be a movie that's a really big hit, because there's a lot more spider people, I think, for people to identify with now that they didn't know existed even 4 or 5 years ago. So this is, and with the tease that this will maybe eventually come into live action,
That's the thing for me.
that's the thing.
That's the thing for me. I think that
Nice.
everything's on the table when it comes to this particular movie. This character, we know
Yeah.
Spider-Man is the biggest box office superhero really there is. And I agree with my son where I feel like the first movie, even though it didn't do the numbers, I think when you go back and look that some people might think it did, this is the sequel that explodes.
You guys just stole one from me. So
Okay.
there
I
we
got,
go.
I
was
got
mine.
to throw a little trash talk out there. This animation, I'm not sure people are coming back for it. Not this particular style
Fair.
of animation, but animation in general.
That's fair.
The two biggest, arguably two of the biggest. But like, does animation come back to the box office? We'll see.
I think this one does. I
You
think,
think so?
Spider-Man does.
I don't know about this one. Domestically,
Guess we'll find out.
I'm questioning.
That
I
was
might eat
100
my words later on down.
You
in
just
the
got to
year.
start. Someone's got to start rumors that Toby and Andrew also show up in this one, and people will be flocking back. People will be flocking back.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, I like that pick.
I hear
really
Willem
like that
Dafoe is supposed to voice the Green Goblin in the movie. Just saying.
All right, Carlos. This is a big pick because there's some big films still in the. on the
Yeah,
table.
man.
You know what? This pick is just pure head. I don't give a shit about this movie. Indiana Jones. Old
Ah,
people
you
like
stole
me.
it
Got
from
it.
me.
Just
You
talk
stole it
about
from me.
it.
Ah.
Consulted
You
on
just
it, and,
consulted on it.
Yeah, and it's on the board. I really
Nice.
hoped it wouldn't be.
That's nice.
It-
It's
It would have
It was
been
a
coming
little-
out of my mouth
and
next.
I don't
Yeah.
care about it, but I was like, you know what? It's the smart play. People do seem to be genuinely excited about it. I think like Phoebe Waller-Bridger writing may put me in a position where I think it'll actually be a good movie. And James Mangold's mindset with how he's approaching it. If you listen to our show when this trailer rolled out, I am not at all a fan of this franchise, but it'll make money, a lot of money. So
nice.
Yeah, that was you stole that right out from underneath me here, man.
Yep.
That was coming home with.
I know
me.
you got your brown hat and everything on.
I do. Trying to diversify myself here a bit in 2023. Been wearing a black hat for about 5 years straight. So. Try to do something a little different here. So I guess I got back-to-back picks here. And I don't know what to do, if I'm going to be honest with you, because the two picks I want to take here, I'm sticking myself into one basket. I'm betting on one thing, but it's the thing that's been consistent for over 10 years, maybe going on 12 years. So I'm going to take, for I guess my third pick is Aquaman. It's going to be my third pick. It is
nice.
December potentially. It's got some. It had some legs on it last time. It's hard to argue against how well that movie did.
And that Christmas window, that Christmas window. I know Avatar was the thing, and I know No Way Home was the thing. But even that first Aquaman, when kids are off school, people are off. There's something to see. That'll be the movie to see, I believe. I don't know what else is trying to come out at that time.
Well.
So I like it.
Yeah, Dune 2, rubbing shoulders with it there in that space. I think you've got, if the new Ghostbusters movie comes out, which I don't think it will, it's meant to be in that space as well.
That one is I don't know if that's coming out.
I'm skeptical on it, but I guess I get to pick again. I'm lumping all the eggs in one basket here, and like I feel really bad. There might be a trade on the table at some point here, but I have to continue to bank on the superhero genre. I'm gonna go with the Flash.
Ooh,
wow,
that's not a bad one though. I'm just saying. I don't know, man.
Oh, that reaction was amazing.
Yeah,
I
like it. I like it.
Flash it's honestly the biggest dark horse in this year's box office.
It's a make or break. It could do absolutely wild, or it could make $110 million. Like
I like it.
And I think the thing when you look at the Flash is just the fact that it's only really got a week or two, right? Because
it's in a weird
Indies 2 weeks later
so
now.
That's one of the reasons him and I had some discussions about. I mean, the impact of Keaton, and really, really a tough pick. It's right now it's hard. There's good movies left, but it's really a crapshoot at this point. I feel like
now you're into the windows, right? The windows, the windows really affected Flash for its place on my list because
exactly.
Yeah, you're rubbing shoulders with a lot of stuff in that June through July timeframe. It's a tough window, but let's see. Carlos, all right, man, you've got your fourth pick coming in hot here.
Okay,
what do you think?
So the draft dynamic has totally changed. Like I really liked. I'm pretty happy with like all three of my picks. Like Indy will be a solid performer. Have no problem rooting for the other two movies I picked. Across the Spider-Verse was one that was just like snapped away from me. But this movie, given the field that's left in play, this is going to be the biggest dark horse pick I make. And this movie was actually number 4 on our list. And predicated just because my daughter's like, you guys are foolish. Like, I don't see anything about Mission Impossible. I don't see anything about Indiana Jones. I don't see anything about The Flash. I don't see anything about Ant-Man on TikTok or Instagram or any of that Gen Z social media. But Barbie is eating up everything.
That's a good one.
I know.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, so the number
Great
4
pick.
pick for me is Barbie, and it was legitimately number 4 on our overall list because she was just like Barbie started off like in the top 10 maybe, and it just kept going up, and she just argued and she's like, you have no idea, and she's like, I don't follow anything that will put me into that Barbie kind of space, right? Like she's all like our stuff, like superheroes and Star Wars, like that's the stuff that she likes, but music. And just with how those algorithms have pinned her, she's like, no, you have no idea how much of an impact this Barbie movie has on the younger social media.
It has the potential because it will be that thing that I think a lot of people will go see for fun as like a meme or as like a joke. I bet you're gonna get a bunch of, like for the Minions movie, I bet you have a bunch of high schoolers who are like, we're gonna go see Barbie. That's not a knock. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. There's gonna be a lot of intrigue around it. That's why I like this pick. It was gonna be near this. It was in this window on our list. The problem,
Ian, is that Margot Robbie is not good for box office.
Not yet.
Not yet. She's been absolutely terrible, to be honest with you.
You look at Amsterdam,
outside of Wolf of Wall Street,
which no one knew who she was,
and outside of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
it's the combo.
She has struggled.
Chris is right there.
And Ryan Gosling is another guy that can't save himself at box office. So this would be a first for them based on the characters.
Which is why I do like the pick though, because this will be huge. So for number 4, do you want to take this one?
I want you to say it because this is more in your genre, but I conferred and I do agree with your pick.
This one,
if it doesn't turn out, I will.
If it doesn't turn out,
I don't really have much say in this pick, but it's okay.
Of all the ones left, quality doesn't matter for this film because they always do big money. The problem is there is a lot of overseas done with this. We'll have to think: did the 6-year wait time help this? Are people going to be more interested in this soft reboot? We're gonna go Transformers.
Ooh. Shoot! Nice. Stole that one from me.
Same.
If it was gonna, our mindset for some of these, I know 2 of our films in the middle are comic book genre, but for our number 1, this pick and maybe potentially another pick, we're thinking about, okay, if people start getting tired of the comic book movies, this year we will see it. And it will be very obvious. So are some of these other movies going to step up and take the place of them? Transformers is there. I know nothing about it. What is your rationale?
My rationale is that even when they're bad, they do a nice domestic take.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like Aquaman, where the bulk of their money does come from overseas. But again, as long as we're just domestic here, I think it'll do enough. It'll add to what we already have and help our total. That's how we're looking at this point.
It'll fortify.
It's
enough.
More of a, not a starter, if you will, a role player.
It's a role player.
Someone that comes in off the bench.
Consistency, man. Coming off you gotta have someone that's just gonna deliver.
You need that player that comes off the bench and
gives you 10, 12 points.
You need that steady defenseman. You need that Shea Weber.
There you go.
That stay-at-home defenseman. So
that's how we're looking at it right here now. We're looking at the board and we're trying to figure out like what will people go see. It just happens to be that they all kind of do well. So
it's a great pick. And honestly, like the Beast is a huge draw for people, especially I'm like the G1 Transformers, but like the next generation of Transformers fans, that's huge for them. Like this trailer was Paramount's biggest trailer. So that goes to show that there's interest there, right? And
our boy Anthony Ramos too, man.
Yeah. Anthony Ramos he's pretty hot right now. And yeah, I think it's a great pick. That is my next pick. One.
I like that one. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, see, everybody is
pins and needles for what's coming next.
Well, some might say we have a little
Craven
boxing match going on right now.
Oh!
So my next pick is, granted, the first 2 haven't exactly been big box office, but we made the point that this might be the last of this franchise in these movies, and it has 2 big stars at the top of their game right now, and Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. I'm going 3-3. Ding ding.
3, man. This is the type of film that I had on my list as one that
shut your brain off and have a good time.
You want to cheer for this movie.
Yep.
Like it looks so good.
It looks awesome.
It's got great actors in it. Michael B's directorial debut, feature film directorial debut as well. So bring it on. I love that, man. I love that pick. Z, man, you get to do your final pick now. Final pick.
Wow, here we go.
Rossetti.
This has been, it's been pretty competitive here. This has been excellent. I gotta be honest with you.
Zeddy, Cocaine Bear, man, it's still there, right?
It's still there.
Cocaine Bear is still
no shot. But I am gonna go a little bold here because we're at the point where I'm feeling a little spicy right now. So, the next one happens to star a very, very young up and coming star that everybody loves to go see in movies, and that is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is the prequel to that of how everything came to be. That is Wonka.
Wonka, there it is. Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet, man.
He's gonna have a big December.
Yeah.
Your Supergirl will like that pick, seeing as I had to buy her the freaking Dune McFarlane figure not that long ago. I was like, really?
Yep.
Why are you buying this? Cyborg with the face shield is right there. You buy that one instead. But nope.
Oh, Zeddy coming in hot.
Nice pick, Zeddy. So
Zeddy's got a
off the board.
full
That's it.
slate of films now, and we're gonna pull them up at the end. And we're gonna have a little chat about everyone's. I'm just writing them down in the background here. So Caruso's, you've called upstairs. You've made your moves. It's time to lay down that final pick.
I will
that
be
fifth
honest.
pick for the night.
Zeddy with a nice pick with
Yeah.
Creed. The Wonka one has potential. It's going up right with Aquaman though.
Mhm.
We'll see. I like it though, because the ending number is going to be higher than I think what this pick is going to be. But domestic is the game. I thought this would be off the board by now. We thought this would be off the board by now for a movie that back in, this is 2019. I don't know. Whenever this movie came out, of its $327 million worldwide gross,
John Wick.
170 of it came domestically. Domestic is the game. Keanu's big right now. We're going John Wick 4.
I was toying with
Wick
that one or Wonka, to be
John
honest.
Wick 4 for number 5.
Yeah, and Keanu, I trust. I think that
There's just
there
so
is
many
a
movies
love
in March,
affair
man.
with this franchise. And while I don't think it's going to overall do big numbers, I do think it'll have a couple of big weeks and some legs. Is all you generational kids now I believe in Keanu. I believe this movie will have a nice little run to it.
Also,
And
comes
at
out
the end
at
of the
comes
day,
out at the end of March.
yes,
Yeah.
it's going to have a little bit of life to it.
It's gonna be the one to pick up when Ant-Man's starting to come down.
Mhm.
It probably will be the one that beats Ant-Man, right?
It'll
that will dethrone Ant-Man.
probably dethrone it.
Correct.
We will see, but those are our 5.
Nice.
Whew, exciting, man. That's everyone's coming in a lot different than I had originally anticipated.
Shoot. So I gotta say, like, it was my idea to transition to snake draft to make it fair and stuff, but like coming off of the Crusoe picks, this is suck because they keep taking mine like every single time.
Yeah.
To our boy Frank's point, man, I would take Blue Beetle, but I've kind of called my shot with that one being part of the new guard of DC movies, and I think it's getting pushed to 24. Well, I'm sure we'll have a better idea as to what they're doing.
It's all alone in
2
August
weeks.
as it stands right now, I think, though.
Yeah, it is all alone.
That's usually a dumping ground for movies, though. So,
Yeah, August is tough, and
yeah, because
I think
everyone's
they-
back in school.
yeah, I think they believe in this one, and
Yeah.
if it's a good movie, it'd be a good way to tide things over as
Yeah.
they look to the future type of thing because it has no baggage. But you know what? There is simply one word that you say when you need the power, and that word is Shazam.
Yeah, no one took Shazam either. Yeah.
It was gonna be taken at some point. It was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
right there.
Like,
Yeah. Fair.
like honestly, with the Crusoe stealing all my
Sorry.
picks, it was between that one and Scream, and
Yeah.
you know what? That first Shazam movie is pretty widely beloved, and it's played on Netflix forever. And that's
Mhm.
the type of movie that picks up a bunch of kids as fans. So,
Mhm.
you know what? The magic word didn't work out that well for The Rock, but hopefully, Zachary Levi can find that magic again.
Oof.
Nice. Hopefully.
Man, there it is. There it is, bro. That was gonna be my pick
Yeah.
because
We'll see.
there's a handful of films here still on the table.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling here because I didn't really have a last pick.
You love
And-
Marvel, man. Just Craven. Just do it. It's fine. We understand.
I can't.
Craven
I
the
have
Hunter.
no confidence whatsoever in that film coming out and actually being like half decent.
Oh yeah, the bows
I
would be
think
good to look
I
at.
think the cast is phenomenal in that movie, and I'm hearing some really good buzz about the story and you really, really got some A-listers.
I
in
can't
this
tell if
movie.
Mr. Crusoe's trying to play me here or
No,
not.
I'm really. I'm excited about it. I'm looking for. I don't think that movie's anywhere near like Morbius is. I think this is a much different film. That
Oh, if it is, they got problems.
But I would not. I don't know in the grand scheme of box office. I wouldn't pick it in my top 5 though. So
No. Still left on the table. There's this Hunger Games. There's a Hunger Games movie coming out.
The prequel, yeah.
Yeah, it's prequel and it's jammed in December as well.
Yeah.
Which is
Rachel
it's
Zegler,
a tough
baby.
month already there. There's of course Blue Beetle, but I'm kind of a bit more in line with Carlos. I do not know if that's going to come out this year or not. There's a TMNT movie, Seth Rogen's TMNT movie that's dropping.
It's animated though, right?
It's animated. Is there a Pixar film? Is this Elemental a Pixar film?
That's gonna be the Pixar, but
Yep.
We'll see about that one. They haven't hit the same way the last year or so.
No, and we've got this Haunted Mansion, this Disney Haunted Mansion movie as well.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons has a movie out too.
That movie is gonna bomb so hard.
And then Scream 6 has potential, but the 5 only made like 170 total.
But they're so low budget though, so you never know.
That's
But,
the thing. But
yeah.
it's all
So
about
if you take a horror film, good on you. Yeah.
Shoot, what am I gonna do here, gentlemen? I got the last pick here, and I can't really go much longer. I'm going to go with a. I'm gonna try this.
Magic Mike Last Dance.
Magic Mike. No.
I mean, don't
I'm gonna-
sleep on it, but
I'm gonna put my faith into an animated film. I'm gonna put my faith back into Pixar with
Yeah.
Elemental.
that's a good one. I like that.
I think
Let's
that's
see.
the same thing.
I gotta I gotta out of what's left. I was leaning a bit towards Haunted Mansion, but I haven't heard or seen anything about that. So again, I'm not super confident that's gonna land this year. It probably will, or if it will end up on Disney Plus by accident. Someone just maybe we'll chuck it over here. We need to bump up them Q3 viewerships. So yeah, that's true, Frank. I fully agree with you here. We need a comeback for Pixar. You know, we talked about it on the podcast a little while ago, Ian and I actually, about Pixar is just there's something going on with the marketing, and you got to remember, big factor here. Bob Iger is back in the driver's seat at Disney.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bob Chapek did not
And-
like animation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob Chapek did not like animation, and most of those Pixar movies are all fantastic, all land on Disney Plus. And Toy Story, no one had any idea what it's about, and it's a fantastic movie. And so the marketing, so Iger's back in the seat here, and I got confidence there. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at, guys. So there it is. We have completed the draft. Before we look, I guess we'll pull these up. Just let me get the last few things here. We're gonna pull this up now, and I'm gonna talk and see if there's anyone that's interested in trading. This is where we'll allow it. Any trades, I would say, have to be I guess agreed upon between two parties in some fashion. And let's say we have to do that. We have to do that out in the open. That's got to be done on Twitter.
Make the right choice.
That's
Come
our
on.
holy grail.
Come on, make the right choice now.
That will be
You want to
if
go
we
to
win,
sleep
it
light,
will
don't
be
you? Come
because
on,
of-
Throw up the
now.
list, man. Throw up
Come
the
on.
list.
Let's see what here. I just got to get it up here. My share screen. I just finished up. So this is what the year looks
I feel like
here.
my child's been stolen away from me.
We've got I really leaned into the superhero genre here. Guardians, Marvels, Aquaman, The Flash, Pixar movie. Carlos runs in with Super Mario Bros. June 285, Barbie, and Shazam. Crusoe's Land with MI7, Quantum Mania, Across the Spider's Rise of the Beast, and John Wick 4, and Zeddy with Fast 10, Little Mermaid, Oppenheimer, Creed 3, and Wonka. Any thoughts, guys, on your picks here? Tell me a little bit about your strategy, Caruso's. What led you to this slate?
I'm pretty confident in what we did. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but with the key being domestic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we kind of looked and saw what some of these movies did. Of course, what was left, there were a lot that were picked that we wanted that we didn't get, but I've got a good feeling. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. A lot of it rests in the hands of Mr. Cruz and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. But I believe in Ant-Man. I believe in Spider-Verse. Transformers and John Wick, we'll see. I'm not necessarily, they weren't really on our board, but we had to pick the best of what we felt was left. So
Yeah, for the ones that were left, it became okay. The ones where over half the total,
was domestic.
not over half, because John Wick's about over the total. So Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, more of it was domestic. John Wick, more of it was domestic. And then we knew going into this, in that first round, we had to try to get Tom Cruise. We just had to. We did not think he would fall to 3 when we got 3. We had to pivot.
There was no one more wrong than me. Top Gun.
Yeah.
That was the like, of all the time I've been podcasting
No one more wrong
here,
than us. Yeah.
4 years, 5 years, whatever we've been doing, I never read a situation.
I don't think anyone did.
Than that.
Yeah.
$716 million domestically.
Off.
Like it outpaced all of the MCU movies.
Mhm.
You know, it's just rubbing shoulders with like early Star Wars era stuff in the Return of Star Wars.
It's just that domestic number. A lot of these other movies, so much comes overseas. Like Aquaman only made like 300 here. So if Top Gun hit 7 here and Mission Impossible Fallout was like 220, with the intrigue, with the bringing people back,
Middle.
If we could hit in the middle,
if you hit a 400 domestic here, you're in really, really good shape.
Pretty nice shape here.
And I'm thinking that this is a possibility with this movie.
Now, if it's not, we're not as pretty as
you got to remember though that this post-pandemic era of box office, those 300, 400 are the biggest films of the year for the most part. Right. You know, with Top Gun being an anomaly.
Yes, absolutely.
But those numbers, those 150 to 250 is going to be where a lot of these movies sit.
That's where they're going to sit. You're absolutely right, Tim.
You're going to have a few shining stars, but and those are the one and that's really, it's going to come down to, you know, it looks like everyone's probably got a huge performer. It's going to come down to a couple of those lower picks doing the 2 to 3, you know, into the early 3s. That's going to make or break, I think, this.
Yeah. I think everybody's list has the potential to win, to be honest with you. And I think everybody's list at least has one, if not 2 films that has the potential for being the breakout largest grossing movie of the year. With my list, Zeddy might have Fast X, but my list was all about family. My the fam weighed heavy into the picks that were made.
I hope that film does great, man. I really do.
We'll see. I bought in, like, I was sold on Barbie, and I think it'll be great. Like, that first trailer it gives you a good sense as to where they're going, and I think you'll get little girls. I think you'll get their grandmothers. I think you'll get everybody in between. It seems like it's going to be really fun too, but also take itself seriously enough that it's a real movie. Greta Gerwig is a insane talent. So
I was mainly trying to target mine between the months of March and July, because that's usually the best time just in general to go to movies and everything like that. Spring break, summer. Granted, my one in December, that being Wonka, just a good feeling about it. There's usually always one in December that's kind of like this more Oscar-y, studio-driven movie that usually tends to perform really well. I think it might coincide well with Aquaman, which is why I picked it. But yeah, usually I'm a summer movie season guy. It's usually where you want your film to be. So that was kind of what my strategy was. I was hoping to take MI7 and kind of be done with it, and then everything else for me would have been gravy, because that's the one movie this year I actually fully believe in. So
I won't lie to you, we held our breath, not because we didn't think Carlos or Tim would take it, but we knew you would.
Yeah, which is fair.
When Carlos' name came for number 2, I grabbed him. I'm like, we're gonna get him.
I didn't rig this, man. I didn't rig this. So yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You did
Dead Reckoning the consensus number 1 pick?
It was our consensus. If Zeddy, it was our consensus if it was there. If it was not there, Mario,
you like Mario.
I liked Mario, and you liked Guardians. Those were our like top 3.
Those were our top 3.
Those were our top 3.
Yep.
Because I think what's cool about this is you guys are right. Everyone has 1 or 2, and then everyone has like a couple of dark horses. Like Carlos, if Barbie hits, and Dune with no HBO Max,
and Indy,
and he's got Indy.
Pretty solid,
Okay, yeah. Well, yes, he's looking real good. Tim with you got Guardians and the Marvels and the Flash with Keaton. Keaton might bring a lot of people to the theater, like Maverick did in the style, that older crowd. Creed 3 might complement. It might benefit because of Ant-Man, because Jonathan Majors. People want to see Kang.
Last of the
movie, last in the trilogy.
I think Little
Nolan
Mermaid
coming
would be
back.
huge.
Nolan,
Yeah, I'm
Nolan
really
is
banking on
out.
Nolan.
Like when Dunkirk is able to make between 6 or 7, I think that's what that movie
Yeah,
made.
historically, his movies do well without a pandemic.
For a war
historically.
movie with not a lot of dialogue, just sound mixing, and now he's got one with a loaded cast.
Yeah,
it's the thing that's
scenario that I really wish.
Yeah.
That I really wish.
I struggle with the animation though. I think
Yeah.
Mario. I think it's going to deliver. I think Mario was like my 4th pick. Would have been my 4th pick, but it's so huge. Chris Pratt is likely could have the 2 biggest films of the year. I truly do think that Guardians is going to be the biggest film of the year, with MI7 being that anomaly. Like, it's either gonna bang or it's gonna do really well. I don't know if I don't think there's a scenario where like MI7 doesn't do really good. It was a bit further down on my list, to be honest with you. Like, I'm really chasing consistency in mind, and like superhero movies deliver. These the DC brands got to really deliver for me though.
Well, that's what's fascinating is a DC
fascinating.
movie wasn't taken till we did the Snake, Tim, for you, and that was in like what was that pick like?
That would
13,
have been
14, it was something in there, right?
Yeah.
Well, it would be ironic if
all the DC
the
movies just hit
of this current run of Warner Brothers DC would produce bona fide hits. I'll say it again. I'm going to have to see it to believe it, and I believe that the Flash, which to me has a ton of potential, it's just I don't like its spot.
No,
that June is tough.
I just don't like its spot.
Yeah.
I think it should have came out a little earlier. And what happens now if they bump these movies?
If a
then
movie
you're out, right? Is that what
yeah? So there's no like
Okay.
it's that played into everyone's thought process, right?
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
will a movie debut? Because we ran into this a couple years ago when things got pushed, and we've seen it in the past where it just doesn't debut, and you're just shortchanged. You end up with 4 films.
Okay. Which is fair.
I think that's fair.
And I think if you take those Warner Brother movies, like you did, Tim, you're well aware of the fact that maybe something.
I think
Mr. Caruso.
Gotta hope
James
Ross
Gunn.
doesn't move.
they got to get these movies out if they want to
Flex
progress
is
that
done,
slate.
If my last one moves, I'm screwed. So don't do that.
They got to get those movies out though. If they want this clean slate, and also the way I look at it
the
too
DC
with
movies.
these,
Yeah.
I think there's going to be the effort put by DC in and behind these, because they're looking at these as a way to fill the coffers here. Like they got to fund a brand new universe that is probably going to be quite expensive, and they got to both these movies have to do good. I think I don't think it has any effect or cascading consequences for what the new DCU looks like, but it definitely is going to impact the bottom line and how money's moved around. Like, they're depending on this Aquaman to be a big hit, and the Flash as well. So let's see, guys. Look, the thing that I look at, like, you always reflect back on your choices, and you look at everyone's picks, and you're like, shoot, I made a mistake, or shoot, I'm a bit jealous at theirs. But the fun part about all this is that there's a lot to cheer for this year, guys. There's a lot on the line here. Pride, the Golden Spidey. Let's see what we can come up with here. So, what's the first film that comes out here? Quantumania. So the Crusoes are going to get off to a running start here in a couple weeks.
Is it Shazam or Quantumania?
No, it's Quantumania.
Quantumania. Okay,
Quantumania's first.
Which took me a half
Quantumania,
hour to buy tickets for last night. I just want to say.
Zeddy kind of, that was a little information we stole from you last night, my friend. You were certainly.
We got the call right before the
call,
second pick,
and he said,
reminding us,
letting us know that the screen froze up a bit there.
Did.
And I think that everybody.
I'm really not kidding.
Now, what I see for Ant-Man is that it's possible it could have this huge mega opening weekend and then die.
and then totally die.
But I'm thinking it's got a little time here on its own. So I think it's going to have the big weekend, and then it's going to probably have that 50% drop. But I think we're certainly going to get off to a decent sized lead.
Start.
After that, all bets are off.
And then we wait for a lot of our movies.
we
Yeah.
wait.
We wait. Well, no, then we got March John Wick, and then we wait till the summer.
Yeah.
And then Across Spider-Verse. No, all those are in the summer.
Yeah.
I think I chose mine within
It's gonna
margin
be
of
it's gonna
each
be
other.
right down
Yeah.
to the it's gonna be it's a 2024 to be honest with you, with like
Yeah.
Dune, Aquaman,
Yeah, it's gonna be
a
like a
few
year.
others that are like Oppenheimer that are running well
Mhm.
through December.
Who
It's-
took the
it's-
latest one? Aquaman's the latest one this year,
Yeah.
right?
Aquaman's the
Okay,
25th.
so whoever has Aquaman most
I
likely
hope it doesn't slip. I better not
it'll
slip.
make or break, I guess.
It's
We'll see.
funny that like I'm probably not gonna go see Transformers, but I'm gonna be like when that
Just retweeting.
Twitter number comes out, I'm gonna be like, let's go! Everyone go see Rise of the Beast. and John Wick. I've never seen a John Wick, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like, dear Lord, everybody go see John Wick, please.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah.
Much like you said, I
Nico's gonna be an ambassador for all these
I probably
movies
will
this
not
year.
be in the theater for either John Wick or for
I'll take you guys. Don't worry. It'll be on me. The John Wick buckets are on me.
another year with no
Yeah.
Star Wars.
This
I
is
think.
tough. This
Yeah.
is tough.
I agree.
We
We're
got
gonna-
Mando,
next
we got
year's
the
probably another
beautiful
year.
Mando
we got Mando,
3 trailer.
Star Wars, Batman, and Robin, baby. Can't
That's
wait.
beautiful.
in which
Man,
we would be remiss if when Mando comes, we didn't talk about it because that is how we met in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I think
we'll talk
there's
about
a
it.
there's a plan that needs to be put in place and executed
yeah.
here with Mando
I think
season
it
3
does.
coming up here in March.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah. Can we talk about how great March looks, man? I mean, I don't have the slate in front of me,
Fine,
but you put Mando and then all these other movies, man. We're gonna be
Look
March
at
through July.
that
We're
list.
feasting, man.
We just talked about the films, and then you stack up all the TV shows,
TV shows, yeah.
Yeah.
that are hitting this year. Like we are in like the age of indulgence.
Again, the age of indulgence. Just when we think it's gonna stop,
Embarrassment of riches, man.
Yeah. So
Chris Renfield was on my list. Maybe?
Well, again, it's very low budget though. That's
Yeah, I
another
mean,
one. You just never know, man.
You don't know. I would agree that that's probably. I don't know, when does it even come out?
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
Renfield,
It's a Dracula
Nicolas
movie. It's like a Dracula
Oh, the
parody.
Nick Cage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
playing Renfield,
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, that's one that like
Or next
the
summer.
studios
Mhm.
love because it's
Yep.
low budget and
Yeah.
it'll make money. Type
Same
of
thing like The Nun too. The Nun made boatloads of money,
Right.
but I just don't know. But very low
Well, I
budget,
think a movie like that takes in 20 or 25 million and it's a big hit.
right?
But
Yeah.
it doesn't.
You're looking
move
at
the
like
needle.
100 million worldwide. For
It doesn't
movies like
move the
that.
needle for us, not
Right.
for what we're trying to accomplish here. If we want to
Yep.
hold that golden Spidey, we've got to work a little bit harder. We've got to set our sights higher on that, right, Carlos?
Man, when
Mike,
I got chills watching you say that in that suit, like that, like when you're like that.
What- Looks like a
we
real
gotta-
Bruce
we gotta
Wayne.
aim
over there,
higher than
man.
that. Like that's like the coach.
I like those shoes, Mr.
Right?
C.
Yeah,
I like
it was
those
like, you know
shoes.
what? We're gonna push hard, and we are gonna
Yeah.
take the top seeding
That's what we're
in
gonna
the
do,
regular
Carlos.
season, so that our
That's
goal
right.
is the cup. Our goal.
Don't
is
worry,
The cup.
I have all the faith in the world in my boy Vinny and my boy Chrissy. All right, my boy Christopher and Vinny are gonna lead
There
me
it
to the
is.
mountaintop, baby.
Vinny,
Good for
Vinny's
you.
got to produce. All right, a question for you boys. Last question before
Yeah,
we.
quality doesn't matter with that franchise. Doesn't matter.
Last
Oh,
question
okay.
before we sign off here, guys. Do you feel any different about your slate or about your picks
Yes.
if it was worldwide box office? Would you have approached this significantly different, or would you have went out the same way?
Probably
That's a good
different, but there's
question.
such uncertainty with China all the time
Yeah.
that I don't know that you could have done it that way.
I'll be honest with you. Not really, because it could have been. It would have been, but the way picks fell and everything. The last two maybe, but those first three I think would have been in this similar order.
I would agree. I don't think it would have affected our first three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But,
like I think
yeah.
like for me, like Tim tabled it, and I said no. I just didn't want the politics like
Mhm.
to come into play.
No, I
right?
know, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's something like you never know what's going to be deemed to be inappropriate for the audience by the censors, and so it's like I look at my list and like what a shame to have a movie like, let's say, Dune 2, because it has themes of colonialism and
Yeah.
like resource control and things like that in it. Like if their censors are like, yeah, we don't want our population to see this,
Yeah.
like that's a shame to
It's a shame.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
And like
this way
even
it's clean.
yeah, and some of these superhero movies don't get releases, and like, but they already announced a Quantum Mania, so that like, does that change?
Yeah.
And so it's like it is tough, and that was it's definitely something I tossed out there. Do we do a global winner? How do we control the variability on the global releases, particularly around the China release?
And I'm the only one that doesn't have a CBM on my list, so
Yeah,
That's
Which
very,
is-
which
I'm banking on a lot here, man.
but you know what, man? Like I don't know. I'm not as confident in them as I don't think it's as big
Is
of
this guy?
anymore.
I bet my whole year on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly, but yours might all hit though. That's the thing.
That's what I try to go
That's
for
the
too.
thing
you know?
about the every year. There's we're at a point now where a couple of these
Word of mouth.
CBM might struggle.
Mhm.
Some of these other films might really pop off. I'm looking at that Barbie. Your family's got a good point with that movie.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people probably would right now tell you it might not, but there's gonna be there, right? There's gonna be this big social media.
I know.
But what's interesting is that and Oppenheimer still technically come out on the same day, so that'll be interesting.
You know, I
That'll be a fun battle there. I
Yeah.
think one of them's gonna move not too far, but we'll see though.
I still look at Tim's list though, and no matter how we
Oh,
feel
man,
about
if
the
those all
genre,
hit though,
because
yeah,
I know they're,
that's crazy.
I know
If
they're
the
all
Flash
going
hit-
to have,
if the Flash hits, man.
they're all going to
and
have
Aquaman. Yeah.
good first weekends, right?
Yeah, that's what you
And,
bank on.
Oh,
with these
first,
guys.
yeah. His
you know,
first
that's
two,
like
yeah.
that's smart because it's like money in the bank, and I think some of
I
ours are
know.
not only they're not gonna maybe hit, but we're counting on a little bit longer time. So
Legs, yeah.
as much as I understand what you're saying about the genre of the comic book films,
Yeah.
they do. I mean, even like even Morbius and them, they do 70 million. So it's hard to do those kind of numbers. I mean, we take it for granted, but
We're banking on a lot of those American
And Tim has two $1 billion movies
you know,
on that
you
list
get
too. So
100 million
anything
weekend
less,
on,
you know.
on four
Yeah, he
on
does.
4 out of your 5 movies. That's
Yeah.
a lot of box office. There,
Yeah.
Well,
you know?
that's the thing. Like, you got to look at
Yeah.
the way I looked at with the strategy going the comic book movies, and it's interesting there. Like Frank's question, and I'd kind of argue the other way. Like Thor did domestically
point.
almost $350 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
it
depends.
was
Yeah.
in the top 10 of the highest.
So did
grossing.
Strange.
And
Yeah.
so it's Strange, and like,
Strange almost did 400 million domestically, I believe. You
and
know?
those movies are doing between 150 and 200 opening weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Some movies on here will do 130 to 150 in their entire run.
Correct.
And so it's really how that all balances out. But at the same time, like I probably, other than the Flash, maybe the Elementals, I don't have anything that can be like, can go from like 150 to like 400 or 500.
Right.
Like, I you could probably guess my total domestic gross and be pretty damn close to it.
Yeah.
Like you could probably say like, 4, 3, they can go from there. So like it's definitely safer picks.
a lot of it will
And-
come down to what's the competition with the comic book movies,
Yeah.
because the second weekend drop off is so hard.
So it's been
And-
so much.
And every single one that's recovered at all, like Thor included, was because nothing else came out. So anybody who wanted to go to the movie, that's just what they went to go see. So like one like The Flash, right? If that one drops hard in the second weekend, like I don't know if it can recover
No.
with Indiana Jones coming out, and then also Transformers and Spider-Verse still being in the theater. And like I don't know what comes out around the Marvels. And
I looked at the Marvels. That's why it shut up my list. It does have some room.
It's got room.
Not a ton, but some.
because what comes out after it?
Is that a July movie again
I
too?
think it's end of July, if I'm not
End of July.
mistaken.
You know,
Okay.
that's actually a good pick because
I mean,
because
July is where you want your movie.
first
to
one
be,
did $1 billion.
you know.
July 28th.
Typically.
Yeah, and I think it's got
Yeah.
most of August to run without anything big.
So
That's
end of
why that landed
summertime.
so high up on my list. Was I went and looked at Windows too
Yeah.
and said like,
So
okay,
people
it's an
may
MCU
go flock
movie
to that
with
before
running
school.
room. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
agree. I think, like I said,
First one made $1 billion too.
they're really, they're really good picks. They're solid. You got that money in the bank the opening weekend.
it's gonna be crazy, man, because it's any person's game at this point, gentlemen. It has been great doing. I had a blast, dude.
Oh,
It's
dude,
like
this
every
was
weekend.
fun,
This
man.
was a blast, man.
This is the first annual. We will.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be doing this every year.
Yes,
'cause
we
Yeah.
will.
And I will
we
dress for the
recap
occasion
this.
next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I do love how structured it was, like how everybody had like their own little systems going, and like
it was
Yeah,
fun.
they're
I'm
really-
gonna fire some people at the end of this though, but don't worry, I'll make sure that they find work
Trust me,
elsewhere.
we had
But, you know.
whole things, man, going. It was,
I had a nice Google Doc that people were editing for me on the spot here.
This was
So
Well,
there's
we
a lot
had
of
to set
craziness
up
behind the
a
scenes,
couple
you know.
scenarios. You've got your A, B, and C scenario in case your picks get taken. So
But I am looking for 2 new co-hosts for the
We're gonna
Vigilante
hop on the flight.
1939.
We're gonna
so,
have We're gonna
I
have
am
to get on
taking
the shuttle on the way
applications
out of here.
now, so don't worry.
Guys,
My cocktails
is
on the
We
flight.
record on Monday nights. The pay is
we're gonna
good.
go to
I'm
the
just
hotel
saying.
lobby if you guys want to join us.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
have
we'll
a
be
big-
there. We'll be there.
We're gonna-
Love to.
Wouldn't that
Oh,
be
yeah.
great? It's gonna happen at some
Bad.
point.
We gotta make that happen.
Yeah,
Is
we're
it-
gonna
is-
make that happen.
So I got a question here. Was this riff already happening? There's no Vigilante episode this week. I'm a bit worried.
This was the episode.
This was our
week.
episode.
I know. I'm
this
just
week.
kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
trust
God.
me, gentlemen.
We also knew we were going
Yeah.
into the night with wanting Fallout.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The Man of Steel 1938 will be debuting in
That's
in
funny.
March of this year.
Oh, gentlemen. Well, as always, it has been an absolute
You guys are the
riot.
best.
There you go, Ian. Appreciate you right along here.
Appreciate you, Ian.
Chris,
Thank you,
Emmett,
Chris.
Frank, thank you guys for joining us for this.
Guys are awesome,
We're gonna
man.
keep a close tab on this. I'll post, I guess, after every film or so. I'll try to get this up on Twitter so that there's a bit of commentary around that. But really, until then, until maybe we got Mando coming up here, guys. We got Quantum Mania. There's a lot going on. Last of Us just dropped. We are picking up here. We're in the depths of winter up here in Calgary, but it's actually been pretty nice. And getting back online here, it brings me back to a simpler time when we're all locked in our homes.
Yes.
It's just-
A simple life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm laughing about? Thinking though, all of us promoting the movies though, because I'm gonna promote.
It's
the
gonna
crap
be
out of
so
Ant-Man.
fun, man.
Yeah. Why would you guys want to go see this fun, more lighthearted
Oh,
Barbie
yeah,
movie
yeah.
when
God,
you
I've
can
never
see
seen
the
anything
movie
like
about
We're
how
gonna
the
be
atom
paid
bomb was
critics
created?
now.
Come on.
Glowing
Come
Twitter
on.
reviews. It's
Come on.
It's a triumph.
no
Ant-Man is a
contest.
triumph.
Yeah.
No more honesty. No more honesty.
Why would you
Sure,
want
It's
to
all
see the
about
Flash
box
go
office
see
at
his
this
dead
point.
mother when you can go see Creed knock out Kang? Come on. Come
Ant-Man
on.
3 is a
Killmonger
triumph.
knockout Krang.
Exactly.
Kang,
Come
not
on.
Krang.
What an exhilarating movie, son.
What Ant-Man?
The
Don't
lights-
you want to see how the
Thank
chocolate
you
was
giving
made
us
in the
the lights
factory?
and
Go
stuff
see
we've never
Wonka.
seen before.
Paul Rudd gives the performance of his career.
And
Who's
we
also
were-
going to
we
be in
were-
Only Murders in the Building,
truly
man.
be
He'll
in
be
the
double
movie.
dipping this year, too. Good for him.
Well, it looks like we got a little bit of stuff to talk about, but gentlemen,
yeah.
why don't you let us know? Caruso's will kick it off with
Yes.
you. Vigilante
You can follow me.
1939. Just you guys are always consistent and fantastic, and
Oh.
bringing that commentary. And also, I gotta probably you guys with your film stuff. Like, I'm a man of very simple tastes and a man of no time, extracurricular or anything. So I rely on you guys to tell me what to watch, and I really appreciate that. So you guys do great
Really
work, both you, Zeddy,
Appreciate
and
it.
Mr. Caruso. It's always an honor to have you on the show here. And
It's far too long since we've seen each other and talked like this in person. So thank you so much. You can follow me at N Caruso Jr. on Twitter. We've got another great podcast we do with our good friend drummer Rob Rob
Yes.
Myers, our Kiss rock group, Right Between the Eyes. 3 generations of Kiss fans, and we've got a great episode coming out about the 40th anniversary of Creatures of the Night.
Which is that album behind us.
That's
nice.
And
I
it
stole your
goes in the
love.
dark, which is cool. You could once again, guys, Legendary is always just so good. It really feels like old times when the world was still the world wasn't normal, but this was normal.
Yes.
So now we're back as the world's normal. Now we're normal. Can't wait to do this again soon. We will not let it go as long. All the kind words, we share all the same sentiments as well. But you can follow me everywhere at Nico Caruso, on TikTok at Nico Knows Film. Zeddy will plug V39. He plugged Right Between the Eyes. We do the Italian Spider-Man Coalition as well. There's an episode coming out next week about the current amazing run, all the dark web stuff, which is, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll see. But until next time, come talk to us, and we love hanging out. So thank you, gentlemen, again. It feels good to be back. V the Nerd. Oh, it feels great. It's already a highlight of my week, and I mean that.
Awesome. Zeddy, let's have it.
Well, how do I follow up that Oscar speech? Okay. All right. Well, I know. Well, as always. Okay. Well, if you guys, I'm just kidding. Look, thank you guys again. This was honestly a blast. Honestly, like I said, I joked about it. Who's ever right or wrong when all is said and done, it's going to be such a blast following all these movies and just going to see them. And hopefully they are all good. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And yes, there are losers, but unfortunately, there will be one winner. Just
Still bitter.
Yeah.
Still bitter.
And unfortunately, when it comes to Tom Cruise, you can still trust me, even though it's not my movie. You guys know you can trust me on that. All right, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Nick Zennick. All my other social media handles are in my profile as well. I joked off the top that I was looking for amplicates for my show. That is completely false. We're at Vigilante 1939. We're just taking a short break here, just with lack of news and everything like that. Studios are still on break from the holidays, but I believe they're coming back soon, so we should hopefully get an influx of stuff to bring you guys a full show in the near distant future. But again, that's at Vigilante 1939, and thank you guys, and hope everyone stays well and safe this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, brother. And words from the champ, back-to-back champ.
Back-to-back.
Yeah, you know what?
For now, I'm just kidding.
This is an absolute blast, and I'm like super excited to see where this box office pool takes us. And if anything, like it's gonna make for just a fun year back and forth with our group and then the wider community and stuff. So yeah, thanks to everybody who joined us tonight and everybody who ends up listening to this show in podcast form on our feed, your feed, wherever they want to take it in. And yeah, like I knew that this would be a good time, but it exceeded all expectations. The minute the power suits entered the screen, it was game over.
The minute I didn't get my number one pick, changed the whole paradigm of everything.
Sure it did.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gooder. It's gonna be a gooder, and
I'm gonna just to let everyone, I'm gonna be watching MI7 next to Nico, and I'm gonna be like, when the movie ends, that son of a bitch got the number one draft pick.
When you go, you should just buy your tickets for Barbie. And then just
you mean Oppenheimer? Like I said, why would you want to go see this more lighthearted Barbie movie when you can see how the atom bomb was created with everybody in Hollywood in it? Come on, it's a no-brainer. Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, this was phenomenal.
It's hit black and white. Come on, it's gonna be great. It's Nolan in IMAX. Can't beat it. It's in July. Come on.
But yeah, I truly believe that anybody's list could win this thing.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's just. You know what? There's guys that get paid millions of dollars for playing this very same game
It's
with
true.
their studios.
That's
so
true.
yeah, blessed that we have you guys to play this game with us. So
yeah, awesome guys. And then to wrap us up here, for those that are watching now and for those that are watching later, you can find everything that Carlos and I do, as well as our good friend Ian, over at thenerdroom.net. YouTube, of course, is a platform of ours that we continue to build. And we have the podcast every single Thursday that drops where we talk all things Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and beyond. If you really want to see why I picked all those MCU films, you can go back and check out our last episode where I just black out and talk about MCU for about 30 minutes. So
It's a great show.
you could do that. But we appreciate everyone coming back here, and let us know in the comments or let us know on Twitter who you think walked away with the best slate and who's going to take home the grand prize of the Golden Spidey. But until we get back at this again, we'd like to thank the Vigilante 1939 crew for joining us on this journey. And we will see you guys over on the podcast. And we'll see you at those theaters when you're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 many, many times over. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. And we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.